This is question number 4 on the extra practice paper review for Unit 1. Rilo lives in San Mateo. He bought an item for $492.33. And when the clerk calculated the sales tax, it came out to be exactly $51.82455. Round the sales tax to the nearest dollar. Okay, so the nearest dollar, remember, that is going to be the value in front of the decimal. So if we write out 51.82455, I'm looking at the place value of 1, because that's the nearest dollar, and I'm looking behind it. That value is an 8, which is greater than or equal to 5. So that means I have to round up. So the answer is going to be 50, and we're going to add 1 to 1 to get $52. Okay, to the nearest cent. So again, we have 51.82455. Since our money goes into the hundredths place, so that's the 2 decimal places after the decimal point, I'm going to look at the 2. And I'm going to look at the number behind it to figure out if I should round up or leave it alone. So since that value is less than 5, I'm going to leave it alone. So the answer to this is going to be 51.82. So $51.82. Round the result of the application problem so the answer makes sense in the context of the problem. So if we were paying for whatever item that this person bought, we would have to pay $51.82 on the sales tax. So his total cost, and it didn't really ask you for that, but the total cost of the item, we're going to take the cost plus the sales tax, which is $51.82, and we're going to add these together. So 3 plus 2 is 5, 3 and 8 is 11, 2 and 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4, 9 and 5 is 14, and then carry the 1, 1 and 4 is 5. So the total cost of the item is going to be $544.15. So this is the total cost. Okay, so again, it didn't ask you for that, but that's what would happen. Okay, so let's look at number 5. Riza decides he will probably use 6.7 notebooks this semester. How many notebooks should he buy? Since we're talking about practical applications, if he needs 6.7 notebooks don't come in proportions. It comes in a whole notebook. So the answer to this should be 7 notebooks because he's going to need more than 6, right? So that's why it's 7. Heaven is catering a luncheon and needs 4.15 pounds of sugar. If sugar is only sold in 1-pound bags, how many bags should Heaven buy? Again, if she buys 4 bags, it's too little. So she's going to have to buy 5 bags of sugar to make whatever she's doing. So this is an example where the rounding rules don't apply. Okay? Amelia is buying shoes online and computes that she has enough money to buy 6.72 pairs of shoes. How many pairs of shoes can she buy? Again, rounding rules won't apply because if she only has enough money to buy 6.7 pairs, she can only buy 6 pairs of shoes because, again, we don't have fractional amount of shoes. So 6 pairs of shoes would be the answer. So again, these are examples where we don't really use the rounding rules. We have to use common sense. So this is number 6. 64% is equivalent to what decimal value? If you're starting in percent and you're going to decimal, remember that I did in the notes that P stands for percent and D stands for decimal. Since P comes after D in the decimal, we have to move to the left to get to D, right? So we have to move 2 places to the left. So I take the 64, move it 2 places to the left, and I get 0.64. So 0.64 is a decimal value equivalent to 64%. For number 7, what number is 30% of 200? So this is an is-of problem. So remember I said if it's a what, we're going to let that equal x. Is equals an equal sign. Now I have to change 30% to a decimal. So to work with it, so again, we're starting with percent, going to decimal, 2 places to the left. So 30, we're going to use 0.30. So what number x is equals 0.30, and then of means multiply. So we're going to multiply 0.30 by 200. So if I do that in the calculator here, 0.3 times 200, that's going to give me 60. So the number is 60. 60 is 30% of 200. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do number 8 and then stop the video. The population of Boomtown is currently at 14,000 and expected to grow by 2.4% over the next year. What will the population be by then? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the 2.4% to a decimal, because I know I'm going to have to work with that number. So 2.4, again, I'm starting in percent. I want decimal, so 2 places to the left. So I'm going to use 0.024, okay? So that's the first step. Second step is I'm going to take the population, which is 14,000. I'm going to multiply that by 0.024 to figure out how many people increased, or the growth rate. So 14,000 times 0.024, and when I do that, I get 336. Okay, so it grew by 336 people. What will the population be in the future? We're going to take the original population, which is 14,000, and we're going to add the population growth, which is 336. And I'm going to do that in the calculator here. And when I do that, I get 14,336. So that's going to be the new population in the future. Okay, the population of Dollsville, on the other hand, is currently 6,000 and expected to decrease by 3.5% over the next year. What will the population be by then? Again, I'm going to change 3.5% to a decimal first. Okay, so I'm starting with percent. I'm going to decimal 2 places to the left. So I get 0.035. Okay, second, we're going to multiply the current population of 6,000. And we're going to multiply that by 0.035 to find how many people the population decreased. So we're going to take 6,000. We're going to multiply that by 0.035. And when I do that, I get 210. Now remember that this is a population decrease. Okay, the other one was an increase. So the third step is we're going to take the current population, which is 6,000, we're going to subtract 210 because we are decreasing instead of increasing like the last problem. So I'm going to take 6,000 minus 210. And when I do that, I get 5,790, and that's going to be the future population of Dollsville. Okay, thanks for watching. Questions number 4 through 8.